Imagine trying to remember your very first birthday, the cake, the people around you, the presents, the sounds. Now think even further back. Can you remember taking your first steps, your first words, the first time your parents held you? For most people, the answer is no. In fact, almost nobody can remember anything from the first 3 years of life. Yet those years are some of the most important in human development. You learned to walk, you learned to speak, you learned who your family was. You experienced the world for the very first time. So, if these moments were so important, why can't we remember them? Why does the human brain erase the earliest chapter of our lives? Scientists have been trying to answer this mystery for decades, and what they discovered is far more fascinating than most people realize. This is the science of infant amnesia. What is infant amnesia? The inability to remember events from early childhood has a scientific name: infant amnesia. The term was first introduced by Sigmund Freud more than a century ago. Researchers discovered that most adults cannot recall memories from before the age of 3 or 4. Some people remember fragments, a blurry image, a feeling, a brief moment, but detailed memories from infancy are extremely rare. This is strange because babies are constantly learning. Their brains absorb information at an incredible rate. In fact, during the first few years of life, the brain forms more neural connections than at almost any other time. If babies are learning so much, why aren't those memories stored forever? The baby brain is still under construction. One of the biggest reasons we can't remember being babies is that the memory system itself isn't fully developed. A key part of memory formation is a brain region called the hippocampus. The hippocampus helps create and organize long-term memories. But in babies, this structure is still growing. It's like trying to save files on a computer that hasn't finished installing its operating system. The brain can process experiences, but it struggles to store them in a stable, retrievable form. Scientists have found that the hippocampus continues developing throughout childhood. As it matures, memory becomes stronger and more organized. This explains why memories become clearer around ages 4, 5, and 6. Before that point, the brain simply isn't equipped to preserve experiences the same way an adult brain can. But brain development is only part of the story. There's another surprising reason early memories disappear: too many new brain cells. You might think more brain growth would improve memory, but during infancy, rapid brain growth may actually erase memories. Researchers discovered that babies produce enormous numbers of new neurons. This process is called neurogenesis. New brain cells are constantly being created as the brain develops. While this growth helps learning, it may also disrupt existing memories. Imagine writing notes in a notebook. Then every day, dozens of new pages are inserted between the old ones. Eventually, finding the original notes becomes difficult. Some scientists believe something similar happens in the developing brain. The constant creation of new neurons may interfere with older memory networks. Experiments in animals have provided evidence for this theory. Young animals often forget experiences much faster than adults. As brain growth slows with age, memories become more stable. Ironically, the very process that helps babies learn may also be the reason they forget. Babies don't think like adults. Another reason infant memories disappear is language. Most adult memories are organized through words. We tell stories. We describe events. We give experiences names and meaning. But babies don't have language yet. They experience the world very differently. A baby may recognize a face, feel happiness, experience fear, hear a familiar voice, but they cannot describe those experiences. Without language, memories may be stored in a different format. Later in life, when we try to retrieve those memories, the brain struggles to access them. It's like trying to open a file saved in an old format that modern software no longer recognizes. The memory may not be completely gone. It may simply be inaccessible. This idea helps explain why certain smells, sounds, or feelings sometimes trigger vague childhood sensations. Something may still remain deep inside the brain, even if we cannot consciously remember it. Are those memories really gone? Here's where the story becomes even more interesting. Some scientists believe infant memories are not entirely erased. Instead, they may exist beneath conscious awareness. Although you can't remember being a baby, your early experiences still shape who you become. They influence emotional development, social behavior, attachment to family, and even personality. A baby may forget specific events, but the effects of those events can remain for a lifetime. In other words, the brain may lose the story, but keep the lessons. Your earliest experiences help build the foundation of your identity, the lost chapter of life. So why can't we remember being a baby? Because the memory systems of the brain were still developing. Because rapid brain growth may disrupt early memories. Because language had not yet arrived. And because the infant brain stores experiences differently from the adult brain. The first years of life may seem lost, but they are not meaningless. Every smile, every sound, every touch, every moment helped shape the person you are today. You may never remember your first steps, your first laugh, or your first words, but those moments still live within you, hidden deep inside the architecture of your brain. And perhaps that's the most fascinating part of all, the most important chapter of your life, maybe the one you'll never remember,